Hello there, this is Daniele from Toolchefs and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to have a look at how we can apply foot locking to our agents. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to define a new agent type. I've already downloaded a character basically and an animation from Mixamo. As you know from with Atoms you can either export your skeleton animations directly from Maya or Houdini, or you can either use external files like FBXs and so on that you can get from other sources, like in this case Mixamo. So I'm going to create a new agent type. I'm going to call it Mixamo. I'm going to provide the skeleton file, which is this FBX. I'm going to use the same FBX for the skin. So basically if I show the skin mesh, this is the character that I've downloaded. And also I downloaded the animation for this character, so that the walk was applied to this character here. I'm gonna display the joint names. As we see here, actually let me make this a bit bigger. The names contains a namespace, which I don't particularly like, so I'm gonna enable the sanitize joint names option, which basically removes the namespace. Then I'm gonna start adding and tagging the joint. So if you use the Atoms exporter, and if you of course configure correctly your legs and pelvises, then you'll see the joints having different colors in the UI here. In this case, Atoms tags if it can't find any tags for the pelvises, it will tag the root of the skeleton as a pelvis. This is why we see the hips here to being green. But just for the sake of completeness, we're gonna even tag them here. So I'm gonna say hips. So this is my pelvis. Nothing will change here because of course that's the same thing that we have here already. Then we're gonna set the legs. So of course the legs need to be, so we need the root, which is gonna be in this case the right up leg. Then we're gonna select the right foot for the AK foot and the right toe based. You can either also select the joint if you want, like that, and right click and copy joint name and do it like this. One thing that if you whenever you select a root here, a foot root, you'll see this value here changing. This is basically the pole vector. The pole vector is a point in 3D world space, so it's not local to the root, the foot root. It has to be in front of the leg, because otherwise when we apply the AK later, you will see the legs doing funny thing, maybe the knee going backwards. So you'll see basically the leg breaking, which is not something that we want. So to make it forward compared to the leg, in this case we have to be basically we need to change the Z coordinate here. It has to be in front of these of the right up leg. So because when we selected the right up leg here, Atoms already set the position here of that joint, we can just safely change this value to maybe 3, which is gonna be basically in front of the again, that joint. If you are unsure about the position, you can even draw the joint or position, and that's gonna be that. So yeah, you can even copy the values here. So let me just go back to the names. So I'm gonna click add legs here. We see now the 3 joints have different colors, and also we see the pole vector in front of the right up leg, which is correct. And then we have to do the same thing for the left. So it's gonna be left up leg, left foot, and left toe base. Again, here we're gonna set 3. Right, so here we have the legs now, and they're properly configured here. So this is all for the agent type. Now we can go on the animation clips event. We can say this is gonna be, let's call it walk. So I've downloaded a walk clip. I'm gonna select that. Now we see basically here the skeleton. We can select the compatible agent type. It's gonna be Mixamo. Now I'm gonna save. And now as soon as I do that, you see the animation is gone, and you might be wondering what's happened. This is because basically, if you remember earlier, we sanitized the joint names, so they don't have the namespace anymore. And here we haven't done that yet. So basically, Atom is assuming that the joints from the agent type are also present in this clip, but they still contain the namespace. So we have basically just to enable the sanitized joint names here, and now it looks better. We also see the joints being tagged. One thing that we can do here, because of course we exported this clip with Actually, yeah, we downloaded it from Mixamo, so we don't have any information about the ground, so the ground height of the pelvis and the feet. We can override that. We see that the clip was nicely done above the ZX plane, so this means that we can use as ground height 0, which is basically the point here, the origin. Now if you press save, now Atoms has stored also the ground height and the pelvis height on the on each joint, on each feet, on each feet and on the pelvis. So the last thing that we need to do is to set the foot down data. But before we do that, I actually want to show you how the simulation will look if we don't set that. So I've saved this stuff. I can go and create an agent group with a grid layout. I'm just going to create one simple agent because, of course, we just need to see how one agent works. We're going to select Mixamo and sorry, I meant to say we want just to see how again the animation on this agent works. One thing that I forgot to do here, which is kind of important, is to set the direction type to static and set the direction to the z-axis, because this animation is going on the z, following the z-axis. Another thing that I forgot to do, which is also very important, is to set the frame range, because of course we don't want to use this whole frame range. And also, as you see, from frame 29 to the end, there's nothing. So actually we want to say to Atoms that the animation is between 0 and I think it's 29. Yeah, 29. Also here there's no loop blend because of course we see here that the pose match completely, so we can safely assume that you know, that we're happy without any loop blend. You can use the loop blend, of course, if there's more animation after this frame, but because there's nothing, I mean, sorry, the movement is not continued. It's just gonna be a static pose. Then we would see something funny with the when we blend, if we use the loop blend with a value greater than 0. So that's that. So we can go back again to the animation here. Let me move up this agent group a bit. This. Okay, so if now I press play, the agent is working. Let me use the skin. So if the agent just goes straight, the fit should look okay. Shouldn't be any sliding because the clips from Mixamo are quite good. Actually, let me change this the frame the FPS to 30, which is the same as the clip. So if you press play, we see the feet are actually quite good, but as soon as this agent starts turning or maybe goes on a height field, on a ground and so on, we will see some foot sliding because feet sliding because there's no foot locking in place. In fact, if I just create a curve and I make a very sharp turn like this, which is not going to be realistic, but just to give you the idea. So I'm going to select the follow curve and then I'm going to drag and drop that into there. And if I press play, you see that the feet are sliding quite a bit. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the you know, we apply some foot lock. So usually if you have some foot lock, you can directly on the clip, you can even load it, and here you'll see the graph of the foot lock of each foot. But otherwise you can compute it directly on the on here, and then you can manipulate it. We have two methods, velocity and ground height. Usually what I use is the ground height. So how I like it to work is I usually draw the word position and I check the feet, the tip of the feet, how they basically their word position. Usually here, so is the y is 1.12, so we can say maybe 1.15. So the value, so basically whenever the tip is gonna be it's gonna have a y value in word space lower than this value, Atom is gonna assume that this is gonna be in the lock state. Okay, so if I do compute, now we see this yellow disk appearing. I'm gonna hide the word space, the word position, and if I press the next frame button, we see that actually it did quite a good job. It's not perfect, so here for instance at the end we see that at the end is not really very accurate. So maybe we want to go there on the right top base, which is that guy. And from this frame onward, we want it to be down. And it's also very important to have continuity between the end of the clip on the start. So here we see Atoms already set this value to true, meaning that it was saying that this foot was locked at this frame. But it's important at the beginning and at the end we have the same foot lock information so that the looping works correctly. So I can now save this, rewind. If I press play now, we see that the feet are not sliding anymore. In case you want to disable the foot lock, there's a way on the clip on the Atoms UI. You can always go here and do disable foot lock. This will, of course, if you go back to the simulation, disable it, so we should see the feet sliding again. But again, this is just an option, and yeah, you know, just in case you want to disable the foot lock in some cases, you can do that there. And this is all for this video. Thanks for watching.